Welcome to Nursing Prep. Push yourself in nursing preparation with smart way. Practice this quiz on www.thestudyblog.com. Legal and ethical considerations. Nurses are bound by a variety of laws. Which description of a type of law is correct? Option A. Statutory law is created by elected legislature, such as the state legislature that defines the Nurse Practice Act, NPA. Option B. Regulatory law includes prevention of harm for the public and punishment for those laws that are broken. Option C. Common law protects the rights of the individual within society for fair and equal treatment. Option D. Criminal law creates boards that pass rules and regulations to control society. Right answer is Option A. Statutory law is created by elected legislature, such as the state legislature that defines the Nurse Practice Act, NPA. Statutory law is created by legislature. It creates statutes such as the NPA, which defines the role of the nurse and expectations of the performance of one's duties and explains what is contraindicated as guidelines for breach of those regulations. Besides the Joint Commission on Accreditation of Healthcare Organizations, JACHO, which governing agency regulates hospitals to allow continued safe services to be provided, funding to be received from the government and penalties if guidelines are not followed. Option A. Board of Nursing Examiners, BNE. Option B. Nurse Practice Act, NPA. Option C. American Nurses Association, ANA. Option D. Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. Right answer is Option D. Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. If the hospital fails to follow ADA guidelines for meeting special needs, the facility loses funding and status for receiving low-income loans or reimbursement of expenses. ADA protects the civil rights of disabled people. It applies to both the hospital clients and hospital staff. Privacy issues for persons who are positive for human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, have been one issue in relationship to getting information when hospital staff have been exposed to unclean sticks. When a client is confused, left alone with the side rails down, and the bed in a high position, the client falls and breaks a hip. What law has been broken? Option A. Assault. Option B. Battery. Option C. Negligence. Option D. Civil tort. Right answer is Option C. Negligence. Knowing what to do to prevent injury is a part of the standards of care for nurses to follow. Safety guidelines dictate raising the side rails, staying with the client, lowering the bed, and observing the client until the environment is safe. As a nurse, these activities are known as basic safety measures that prevent injuries, and to not perform them is not acting in a safe manner. Negligence is conduct that falls below the standard of care that protects others against unreasonable risk of harm. When signing a form as a witness, your signature shows that the client, Option A, is fully informed and is aware of all consequences. Option B, was awake and fully alert and not medicated with narcotics. Option C, was free to sign without pressure. Option D, has signed that form and the witness saw it being done. Right answer is Option D, has signed that form and the witness saw it being done. Your signature as a witness only states that the person signing the form was the person who was listed in the procedure. Which criterion is needed for someone to give consent to a procedure? Option A. An appointed guardianship. Option B. Unemancipated minor. Option C. Minimum of 21 years or older. Option D. An advocate for a child. Right answer is Option A. An appointed guardianship. A guardian has been appointed by a court and has full legal rights to choose management of care. Which statement is correct? Option A. Consent for medical treatment can be given by a minor with a sexually transmitted disease, STD. Option B. A second trimester abortion can be given without state involvement. Option C. Student nurses cannot be sued for malpractice while in a nursing clinical class. Option D. Nurses who get sick and leave during a shift are not abandoning clients if they call their supervisor and leave a message about their emergency illness. Right answer is Option A. Consent for medical treatment can be given by a minor with a sexually transmitted disease, STD. Anyone, at any age, can be treated without parental permission for an STD infection. The client is advised to contact sexual partners but is not required to give names. Permission from parents is not needed, based upon current privacy laws. Most litigation in the hospital comes from the Option A. Nurse abandoning the clients when going to lunch. Option B. Nurse following an order that is incomplete or incorrect. Option C. Nurse documenting blame on the physician when a mistake is made. Option D. Supervisor watching a new employee check his or her skills level. Right answer is Option B. Nurse following an order that is incomplete or incorrect. The nurse is responsible for clarifying all orders that are illegible, unreasonable, unsafe, or incorrect. The failure of the nurse to question the physician about an order creates an area of liability on the nurse's part because this is perceived as a medical action and not the role of the nurse to write orders. Some RNs do have prescriptive privileges based upon advanced degrees and certification. The nurse places an aquathermia pad on a client with a muscle sprain. The nurse informs the client the pad should be removed in 30 minutes. Why will the nurse return in 30 minutes to remove the pad? Option A. Reflex vasoconstriction occurs. Option B. Reflex vasodilation occurs. Option C. Systemic response occurs. Option D. Local response occurs. Right answer is Option A. Reflex vasoconstriction occurs. If heat is applied for 1 hour or more, blood flow is reduced by reflex vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction is the opposite of the desired effect of heat application. A client has recently been told he has terminal cancer. As the nurse enters the room, he yells, "My eggs are cold, and I'm tired of having my sleep interrupted by noisy nurses." The nurse may interpret the client's behavior as Option A. An expression of the anger stage of dying. Option B. An expression of disenfranchised grief. Option C. The result of maturational loss. Option D. The result of previous losses. Right answer is Option A. An expression of the anger stage of dying. In the anger stage of Kubler-Ross's stages of dying, the individual resists the loss and may strike out at everyone and everything, in this case, the nurse. When helping a person through grief work, the nurse knows. Option A. Coping mechanisms that were effective in the past are often disregarded in response to the pain of a loss. Option B. A person's perception of a loss has little to do with the grieving process. Option C. The sequencing of stages of grief may occur in order, they may be skipped, or they may recur. Option D. Most clients want to be left alone. Right answer is Option C. The sequencing of stages of grief may occur in order, they may be skipped, or they may recur. Grief is manifested in a variety of ways that are unique to an individual and based on personal experiences, cultural expectations, and spiritual beliefs. The sequencing of stages or behaviors of grief may occur in order, they may be skipped, or they may reoccur. The amount of time to resolve grief also varies among individuals. Thanks for watching. You can also practice this quiz on www.thestudyblog.com, link in description box. If you have any doubt, ask in comment section, and you like our video, then do like, comment, share. Subscribe our channel for regular updates.